The room shimmered with crystal chandeliers and polished smiles, but something felt wrong the moment Noah Bennett noticed them. 3 little girls stood together near the edge of the ballroom. Perfectly dressed, perfectly still, completely unseen. This was the annual Aurora Foundation Luncheon, a daytime event where influence filled the air as much as sunlight. Executives moved in practiced circles, laughter rising and falling in waves, conversations measured by what could be gained. Power pulled people together here, bending attention toward the loudest names in the room. Yet somehow, the 3 children standing quietly near the window were overlooked. They were triplets Elena, Maris, and Collie, daughters of the foundation's CEO, Vivian Hawley, a woman whose name alone could open doors across the city. Still, that afternoon, the girls were treated like part of the decor. Noah noticed them because he knew that feeling too well. A single father in his late 30s, Noah wore a charcoal suit that had been altered more times than he could count. He worked as an operations coordinator for the foundation, setting up events, fixing problems before they became visible, staying in the background so others could shine. It was a job that suited the life he'd built after his wife passed away. Quiet, reliable, invisible. As Noah moved through the room, checking lighting and adjusting chairs, his gaze kept drifting back to the triplets. Guests passed them with polite nods, bending briefly only to redirect their attention toward donors or executives who mattered more. Some assumed a caretaker would appear any moment. Others smiled without stopping. The girls stood patiently, hands clasped, watching adults swirl around them. They were learning something no child should have to learn, that being important on paper doesn't guarantee warmth in real life. Across the room, their mother Vivian was deep in conversation, confident and composed, trusting the environment to take care of her children. She didn't see how alone they felt. Noah hesitated. He had work to do. Rules to follow. A position that depended on not drawing attention to himself. But then a memory surfaced, his own son sitting alone during a school assembly while Noah worked a double shift. The relief on that small face when Noah finally arrived. That memory tipped the balance. Noah set his clipboard down and walked toward the girls. As he approached, the triplets stiffened slightly, used to adults passing by without stopping. Noah didn't rush. He knelt carefully on the polished floor until he was at eye level with them. He looked at each girl not as a group, but as individuals. Then he spoke 3 quiet words. I see you. The change was immediate. Shoulders relaxed, eyes brightened. Smiles appeared where tension had been. Noah stayed for a moment, asking about their dresses, nodding as they excitedly showed him tiny details no one else had noticed. There was no agenda, no performance, just presence. People began to notice. First, a few curious glances. And whispers. Conversation slowed as guests realized something meaningful was happening. Vivian turned just as she finished speaking with the donor. From across the room, she saw a man kneeling with her daughters, and something inside her shifted. She excused herself and walked toward them, heels tapping softly against the marble. Noah sensed her approach and stood quickly, ready to apologize for overstepping. But Vivian didn't look upset. She looked thoughtful. She noticed the ease on her daughters' faces, the joy she hadn't seen all afternoon. Then she looked at Noah not as an employee but as a person. The room seemed to pause. Vivian thanked him quietly. Later, as the event wound down, she asked Noah to join her near one of the tall windows overlooking the city. She asked about his life, his work, his son. Noah answered honestly about early mornings, packed lunches, and the constant effort to be enough for someone else while feeling unseen himself. Vivian listened. She recognized something familiar, the cost of responsibility, the loneliness that can come with leadership. That afternoon changed the tone of the entire event. Guests approached the triplets differently. The girls laughed more freely, their confidence growing with each interaction. Weeks later, change came quietly. A meeting, an opportunity. A role that recognized not just Noah's skills, but his character. Vivian didn't call it a reward. She called it alignment. At future events, the triplets always searched for Noah first. To them, he was the man who saw them when it mattered. And to Noah, they were proof that sometimes the smallest act, kneeling down, choosing kindness, can shift an entire room, because in a world obsessed with power, the bravest thing you can do is notice.